Hey guys, it's Miss Joseph and I am here doing your tutorial for Friday, September 11th. Make sure if you missed the live session that you click the link at the bottom of your screen so that you can get credit for watching this tutorial and we can count you present for the day. Today's tutorial is going to be all about the activity that we're requesting you guys do today. So I want to go over some background information of the different layers of the atmosphere and then describe to you how to complete the activity that is assigned in Google Classroom under the Classwork tab. So I have titled this Layers 101 because this is just down to it facts that you need to know about the layers of the atmosphere. So we know that the troposphere is the layer that we live in, right? This is the lowest layer down by the surface. This is where the majority of the gases are in the atmosphere. This is where the majority of things that we do take place. So weather occurs in the troposphere, we live in the troposphere, clouds are in the troposphere. Any of those types of things are part of the troposphere. Even the planes, they fly at the top of the troposphere by the tropopause, which if you remember is a boundary between the troposphere and the stratosphere. So some three key data points we want to go over with you will be the height, so how many kilometers the troposphere is, the temperature of the troposphere, so the average range, and then the air pressure within the troposphere. So if you look, the height, it's 0 to 16 kilometers. This is actually the thinnest layer of the atmosphere. Okay, all the other layers are larger. This is the thinnest layer of the atmosphere, and it's the most dense. The molecules and the particles are very close together in the troposphere. Now for the temperature, the average temperature of the troposphere can go from 15 degrees Celsius to negative 60 degrees Celsius. All right. We know in the troposphere that it's warmer down by the surface where we live, and as you go up in the troposphere, that it gets cooler. So that negative 60 would be at the very top of the troposphere where it's reached its coldest point. For air pressure, it goes from 1,000 millibars down at the surface where we are because we've got the whole pressure of the atmosphere pushing down on us at the surface. And then as you go up higher in the troposphere, away from the surface, the air pressure lessens to 200 millibars. Okay, so that's a big range of air pressure there. The next layer is the stratosphere, and it's very important that you remember that this is the layer that has the ozone layer in it. Okay, that ozone layer is very important for protecting us from harmful UV rays. All of these ultraviolet rays that are coming down can typically, by the ozone layer, bounce back up and not make it all the way down to the surface to where it can harm us. So the ozone layer is very important, and it is found in the stratosphere. Now, because we have these molecules in the ozone layer in the stratosphere gets warmer as you go through it, right? Because it's absorbing those ultraviolet rays so that it doesn't come down into the troposphere. So the stratosphere actually starts cool at that negative 60 degrees from the very top of the troposphere. And as you climb up into the stratosphere, instead of getting cooler, it's going to get warmer. Okay, so it's going to go from negative 60 to negative 5 degrees Celsius. All right, so the ozone layer helps warm this layer up a little bit. As far as height, it goes from that 16 kilometer mark up to 50 kilometers. So it's drastically bigger than the troposphere was. And for air pressure, it goes from 200 millibars all the way down to 1 millibar. So the air pressure is drastically decreasing as we go up. The next layer is the mesosphere, and remember the ME and mesosphere is very similar to the ME and meteors. So I want you to remember that the mesosphere is a protective layer that protects us from those meteors that come barreling through the atmosphere. Once it reaches the mesosphere, they kind of break apart and fizzle out. Now, for height, the mesosphere starts at the 50 kilometer and goes to 80 kilometers, so it's a total of 30 kilometers. And then for temperature, it's at that 0 degrees Celsius mark, which it reached at the top of the stratosphere. And then it gets a lot colder in the mesosphere. The mesosphere is the coldest layer of the atmosphere, reaching temperatures to negative 90 degrees Celsius. All right. And this is one of the key reasons as to why those hot barreling meteors coming through the atmosphere kind of break apart, because this layer is so cold. For air pressure, at the start of the mesosphere, it's 1 millibar, and it goes all the way down to 0.01 millibars. So very little air pressure whatsoever in the mesosphere. The next layer is the thermosphere. The thermosphere is one of the larger layers, and it has a height of 90 kilometers all the way up to 500 kilometers. So this is a huge layer, right? Its temperature can go from negative 90 degrees Celsius, which was that coldest mark in the mesosphere, and then can go as high as 2,000 degrees Celsius. So not only is this our largest layer, it is our hottest layer, all right? It's very hot in the thermosphere. For air pressure, it starts at that 0.01 and goes all the way to 0.0001 millibars. Okay, so you can see that as you go up, the air pressure is decreasing. There's less pressure pushing down on you as you travel up in the atmosphere. So if you're down all the way at the surface in the troposphere, you've got the whole weight of the atmosphere on top of you. But as you go up higher in the layers, there's less weight and less air pressure pushing down on you. So for today's purposes, we're going to stick to these 4 main layers just for the activity that we're doing. The exosphere can be considered a main layer, but most of the time it's just viewed as an extension of the thermosphere that goes off into space. So we're just going to disregard the exosphere for this specific activity, and I want to explain to you guys what you need to do for it. So you will be given this template right here. It's like a virtual foldable. You know, when we're in class and we make regular foldables and we fold the paper to have these tabs, we're doing this but virtually. And on each of the 4 tabs here, you're going to have the different main layers of the atmosphere: troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, and thermosphere. And remember, for this example, I told you we're not going to use exosphere. So what you'll do is you'll be able to edit this as long as you go to the classwork tab in Google Classroom and open it through there. Now you'll put your name on the title slide, and then you'll be able to click to the next slide, which would be the troposphere. And once you click on this right here, it's a completely green screen, and it's able for you to type. Now here is the rubric for this activity, and you will see the different things that you have to put on each tab. It's the same exact things. You have to tell me the kilometer range within each layer. You have to tell me the pressure range and the temperature range, which you all have in this presentation that I just gave you. I covered those 3 main things, so that should be easy for you to find. You also have to give me 2 characteristics of that layer. So is that the layer we live in? Is that the layer that protects us from meteors? Does it have the ozone layer? So you have to tell me 2 characteristics of each layer, and then include 2 pictures. These 2 pictures don't have to be the exact layer, but it can be a picture of things found in the layer. Whatever you want, as long as it applies to that layer of the atmosphere. Okay? So you'll be doing this for each of these 4 main layers. Now I'm going to open up my tabs and show you an example of what exactly I am requesting for you to do. So this is what it'll look like on your end. I'm going to open it with Google Slides so you can see how we can edit it. So the first slide is just your template here. You type in your name in that box. And then once you click on the second page, it's the troposphere. So you can go ahead and edit this. It's a text box. Edit it, drag pictures into it, whatever you got to do. Then when you go to the next slide, it flips onto the stratosphere for you. All right, all the way down through the thermosphere. And then there's your rubric, which I attached on the presentation. Okay? So if you guys have any questions on how to complete this activity or any questions about the material, please let your teacher know so we can help you. Thanks.